oh my God, something could end me right now. The only time where I actually had a thought of like, oh my God, like I might not get out of this. Coach Greg, and welcome to a new and exciting time. I have new cameras, new lighting, new sound stuff, new mics. It's going crazy here. I got two of these, so if Allie's talking, you can hear her or whatever. I got a new camera, and it's a Canon M6. I think it's a 6. And there's some new lens that's coming that's better. And I had a Canon something 50 before, which I'm using right there, but I didn't want to go too crazy and use a new camera yet. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff right now. We're doing a Q&A today. This is the first time. I'm going to try this out. Hopefully the sound, let me know. Does it sound better? Is it better? I don't know. The lighting is pretty bright here, but it's better. Maybe I'll show that later. But anyway, so I posted here. It's time again for a Q&A. Ask me anything. 3,756 questions or whatever occur. I'm going to go through some of the most popular and answer them. Jones Nemeth says, if you could only do 5 more exercises for the rest of your life, which ones would it be? Okay, well, I'm going to answer this the way I want. Okay, I'm going to pick bike riding as an exercise. I'm exercising on my bike. That's the cardio choice. If I could only do a few things, bike riding is one of them, okay? I would not like to not bike ride. So that's one. Next.
A few moments later.
This would have been easy a couple years ago. I would have said the squat, bench, deadlift, and maybe bike ride and the bicep curl, something simple. But now I can't really do all those things. So I got bike riding. I'm going to still do bicep curls, okay? I'm going to do some kind of a chest pressing motion. I can't bench press though, it hurts too much. So chest press, the bicep curl. I already got the bike riding, and I'm going to say I got to think. I got to know which ones I'm going to do.
More moments later.
Side laterals, I got to have me some delts. And I'm debating between lat pull downs and seated rows. I'm going to pick the lat pull down. So there you have it. Mir Summer asks, if you could have one workout with any bodybuilder, alive or dead, who would you choose and why? Okay, well, it has to be a bodybuilder, so it narrows it down to a few people. So it's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Why? Well, because he's really the guy that I looked up to the most in terms of bodybuilding growing up. I mean, I would assume that most people would have that same answer. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, watching him in movies when I was a kid, seeing him in Pumping Iron, seeing him in every single bodybuilding magazine, reading everything about him. Basically, I'm an Arnold fan since day one. It would have to be with Arnold Schwarzenegger. What would I talk about? I would be like, what was it like growing up? What was it like when you got into training? How did you change over the years? What's your mindset? What has kept you so passionate about it for all these years? I'd like to see how he answers that in comparison to me. Because I've done a lot of bodybuilding shots, a lot more than him, but he's a lot older than me. He's been at it longer. And I would be just curious to see like what he thinks in comparison to what I think. So I would really, it would be amazing to like work out with Arnold and see, and I wouldn't have questions about form or technique, or it really wouldn't have anything to do with lifting weights. It would be more just like, what was his approach? What's his mindset? What did he think about the sport? And how has it evolved? That would be the most interesting thing for me. Netter Eddie wants to know, what is the most dangerous thing that ever happened to you? I think the memory for me of the most dangerous thing that ever really happened was when I went under a waterfall at the dam near where I live. And the waterfall, it comes on really forceful. And I underestimated, I was probably 14 years old. And I would go, like, we would all do it. We'd go behind the waterfall, okay? So I decided, hey, I'm gonna just dive under the water and then go under the waterfall. And the waterfall, basically, I dove under, and here's the waterfall, and it pushed, and it pinned me to the ground, and I was stuck there for probably 15 seconds, unable to move. And I was panicking, like literally panicking. I think it's the first time, or maybe the only time, where you're like, oh my God, something could end me right now. The only time where I actually had a thought of like, oh my God, like I might not get out of this. And I just kept squirming and I finally got out and it threw me back and then I did like a backflip off of the edge and it was just a nightmare. But that was frigging scary. So that's, I don't know. I didn't think it was dangerous. It probably wasn't the most dangerous thing, but at the time being pinned under this waterfall and being like, I can't move and it's just water. It's like, you're a kid, you're like, water. Pff. That was scary. Maybe the question could have been, what's the scariest, more dangerous, whatever. That was it. Francis Borg says, what is the most accurate way to estimate how much calories you're supposed to take in for maintenance, especially when you factor like how active you are and frequency of working out? Okay, the only real way to do this, the only accurate way, the single only way is to weigh yourself and look in the mirror and compare yourself, weight and mirror, on a weekly basis, every single week, and look in the mirror and say, am I maintaining? Look on the scale, am I maintaining? You're trying to maintain without weighing yourself, without seeing how you look, you won't know. And what do? If you're getting fatter or looking worse, as in looking fatter, gaining weight, you eat less. If you're getting leaner and you look leaner and you're trying to maintain, eat more because you're going to keep getting leaner if you don't eat enough. That's the only accurate way. You can't look on MyFitnessPal, you can't look on Google, you can't type in your height and weight, you can't ask a coach, you can't in any way get that number by tracking anything. You can try, but you can't. So you need to look in the mirror, look on the scale and say, am I gaining weight or am I not? Am I losing weight? And adjust calories from there. That's what I do with my clients, literally. I ask them to give me their median weights. I get them to say, hey, are we looking leaner or what's happening here? And then we adjust calories accordingly. You can't just guess. I guess at first, I say, oh, I think based on what this is probably the calories you need. Sometimes I'm off. It's a guess, okay? Don't let anyone bullshit you and say, oh, your BMR is this, your activity level is that, times 3 exponent 4 squared divided by pi. Yeah, that's the calories. No, it doesn't work. Hajong Yu says, from my wife, why don't you show the pigs more often? I think it's because this is a big house and I have to travel a lot with the camera and it would be a lot of work to go get the Gert. Gert can only stay up on the top floor. You'd have to carry him down the stairs. Although the other day, Gert fell down the first flight of stairs. Me and Allie were going down. Gert fell down the stairs. It was scary. And it scratched some of the floor with the little hoofs. So we can't bring Gert down the stairs. Gert wanted to come down with us, but it's just too much. So Gert is not in all the videos just because it's the work. I'm not good with the camera. It's on a tripod right now, traveling, but we're gonna try to get Gert in there. I did a contest. I ate against Gert in the popcorn eating challenge. So Gert's in there. We just can't get them in all the pictures, all the videos. There's some. I'm making close to 14 videos a week. So I bet Gert's in at least 2 of them a week. Most YouTubers only make 2 videos a week. So Gert's in a lot of videos. Go Odd said, if I use an inhaler with corticosteroids, does that mean I'm not natural? Well, it depends. If you're a moron, you probably would say, yeah, you're not natty, you're not, and then they're corticosteroids. When I was a kid, I remember I was on corticosteroids, and I remember a friend of mine said, oh, you lift weights, you should lift even harder now because you're on steroids. And I'm like, I don't think corticosteroids are the same thing. But I was like 13, how would I have known? But it wasn't. Later I got older, it's not. So corticosteroids is not steroids, it's not gonna make you get jacked, okay? So yeah, you're still natural. I mean, you can debate it if you want and say, hey, it's a drug, you're not natural. But it's not a performance-enhancing drug here, okay? So it's up to you to decide it, but I'm gonna say, no, I would call you natty. Jell wants to know, what's the lowest calorie diet you've ever been on? Well, the first diet I ever went on in my life, it started at 2,200 calories, but I had been as low as 1,800. So I'm gonna say between 1,800 and 2,200 calories, lowest calorie diet I've ever been on in my life. And I call anything that's over a week long to be my lowest. As I got older, 2,500 is the lowest calories diet that I've been on in, say, the last 10 years. Mind you, I do a lot of cardio too. So although you probably think that's a lot of calories for like a hard diet, considering my activity level, considering the neat calories I burn, it's not a lot of food. Carl Hurarta says, how do I convince my family to start eating healthier? Especially, how do I convince them to stop using oil for cooking? LOL. Honestly, you ask and say, I'm trying to lose weight and I don't want the oil. Can you use the pan? If they don't listen to you, you gotta convince them to watch my videos where you can hear me calling them morons for doing such stupid things. To convince your family to eat healthy in general, you gotta just try to say, hey, well, isn't your health worth it? But they're not gonna listen. People don't just do things just for the heck of it. People need some big change to happen. They need a heart attack or a friend in the family to have like health concerns. They need blood work saying your cholesterol's out of whack. Without that, it's gonna be tough. I really seriously just think you need to get them hooked on my videos because I'm gonna explain to them why they need to eat healthy, what exercise will do for you, and so on. So my advice, tell them to watch more Coach Greg. Queddy Wernkney wants to know, is it necessary to train abs, calves, or forearms? I've heard a lot of contradictory recommendations in these bodybuilders. No, nothing is necessary. It's not necessary to train chest, back, lats, quads, hamstrings, glutes. Nothing necessary. Better question, should I? Better answer, do you want to? If you don't care about having bigger calves, bigger forearms, then don't. Don't train them. If you're like, I want bigger calves, then yeah, you better be training them. If you want bigger forearms, maybe focus on forearm training. Especially if you're using the extra grip holders. I don't care about my forearms. I don't do extra forearm grip, but I train my back a lot. My grip strength is way above average. It's not like I have small forearms, so I don't feel like I need it. Okay? I train my calves a lot. I want to make my calves bigger. And abs. I never train my abs. I don't need thicker abs. I don't need a thicker waist. Small waist is where it's at. I flex my abs and I pose my abs. And so if you want a small, tight stomach, you don't need to do a bunch of sit-ups. But if you want your abs to be shown, to see your abs, to be like, wow, he has good abs, you should practice displaying them. It's all about how you flex them and show them off. You can have abs, but if you don't know how to flex them, you're not going to look as good as if you know how to flex them. Stand in front of the mirror in the morning when you're at your leanest, dehydrated, what have you. Go and flex the abs. Pose them. Practice standing the way you would. If you want to look good on the beach with a six-pack, stand there in front of the mirror and practice blowing your air out and being able to talk. Right now, I'm flexing and tensing my abs, and you can't tell. Versus letting your stomach out. Night and day difference. Every single picture I'm going to post on Instagram, I'm going to be flexing my abs. If I want to look good, my abs are tight. They're tense. That's what makes them look good. It's like doing like this with your chest versus flexing your chest. It's like doing this versus this. It looks better flexed. Same thing with abs. So you don't have to do a bunch of sit-ups. Your abs are training during your weightlifting anyway, but you should practice posing them. That's what I do. Nadim Jassar says, despite being highly intrinsically motivated, have you ever had some mental downfalls which prevented you to think clearly and go to the gym? If so, how did you overcome them? So no, I've never not wanted to go to the gym, ever. I love the gym. That's what makes me happy. So to think, have I ever had some kind of mental stress where I never wanted to do something happy? Have I ever had some mental stress that made me not want to feel good, to not be happy? No, I've never wanted to punish myself and avoid the gym. I don't cut myself. I don't have any kind of desire to self-sabotage myself. I like feeling good. I like looking good. And why would I punish myself by not going to the gym? So to me, that's just silly. Like, I don't even understand the question, really. Have I ever not wanted to go to the gym? You just said intrinsically motivated. I'm already motivated. I do what I like. I don't need motivation to go to the gym. To me, it's like, does somebody else need motivation to go to the movies, to go out to eat, to go do something fun, to go out dancing if you like dancing, to eat pizza if you like pizza? You don't need to get highly motivated to eat a chocolate bar if you like chocolate. It's easy. GregDoucette.com for coaching, Greg Doucette IFBB Pro. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, watch one of these 2 videos, and until next time, I am out.